Right, everybody, we are starting this session on time. It's 5:30 p.m. Please note, we Indians are learning. So this session, as I said before, is 5 ways to combat cart abandonment for your D2C brand. And with us today, we have Gaurav Dadich, who's the business head, who's the director and general manager, sorry, of product management here at Razorpay. He's locally known for us as the D2C man. He's also the reason why all of these facts that we've thrown around in polls are facts for us. And he's going to be talking to Amit Putane, who's the business head of Duroflex, Akshay Khatri, head of D2C at Go Noise. Please, everyone, make some noise for him. Raghav Kumar, VP Product Technology, Bella Vita. And that is your cue, everybody. Cart abandonment and how to solve it, your biggest nightmare. On to you, Gaurav.
Thanks so much, Chandni, and very good evening to everyone, and especially to all the esteemed attendees here, and my fellow speakers. Hi, Amit, Akshay, and Raghav. Uh, I think Chandni's introduction pretty much said it, right? This is the best folks who can get together in the D2C community who can talk about cart abandonment. Uh, it's something that we all understand to a certain extent, but let's go ahead with the session and not make assumptions. So I'll bring in my first question, right, and I'll throw it open to all three of you to define it in your own words, right? What do you define as a cart abandonment? Is it just when something actually gets added onto the cart alone, or is it every traffic piece that goes without converting into an order? And I'll start with you, Amit, first.
Hey, hi, Gaurav. Uh, I think cart abandonment has been a challenge for every player who is into D2C and is dealing into this. The customer, when he comes to the website, I think he goes via a proper journey. He comes to your homepage to the category to the product page. He select one of the SKUs as his final choice. He adds it to the cart and he's about to make a payment, or he decides to make a payment. And at that point, for ABC reasons, he decides, not to go ahead and maybe wants to come back. At that moment, when he's precise to do the final step, he leaves the journey. I consider that as cart abandonment because he has made his full choice to buy the product with due consideration. And the product I deal in is into mattress category, which is a very, very need-based product. It's not an impulse purchase. Person actually has decided that he has the need. He wants to buy it for his house. He identifies, sees the range, choose the product, comes to the cart, and something happens at that point, and then he leaves the cart. So for me, the cart abandoned is definitely he choose not to pay at the last stage.
Got it. Thanks, Amit. I'll move to you, Akshay. How would you define this?
So, Gaurav, it's like the most nurtured customer you are bringing through a lot of performance marketing, all the stuff you're doing over the marketing is abandoning your checkout process. It's like let's say let's talk about the numbers. What Amit has also quoted, like 100 users coming to your cart, out of them, 7 will add the product to the cart, 4 5 will go toward the address page, and almost 3 land to your payment uh, option page, and only one convert out of that. It's like you're investing all of your money for that one person, but if you can save at least 20-30% of the abandonment user by a lot of stuff in terms of technicality, nurturing funnels, CRM, and a lot of stuff, you can save a lot of marketing budget, which comes the bigger part in your PN.
Got it. Thanks, Akshay. Raghav, over to you. How do you define cart abandonments?
First of all, thanks, guys, and really nice having this session with you all. Um, Gaurav, just like how Amit and Akshay have deliberated upon, the fact that a customer came with an intent to buy, the customer browsed through your website, through your storefront, spent time there, and selected a product. So that's the intent that the customer has shown, right? So the customer wants to buy a product, or at least wants to see what is it that he'll get the best price, etc., or whatever. And at the last stage, when you're probably just going to check out and go to the payment page, the customers bouncing due to whatever reasons, which we'll of course discuss during the session. That's of course one of the biggest pain points for any D2C brand person. And yeah, that's quite a significant rate across the industry. um, it can range anywhere from about 50 to 70% for depending on the category as well. Amit, I guess, has the most difficult category here to sort mattresses, because a very need based product, a very high price point product which you'll buy probably once in 5 years or something, versus a BPC category where you'll have products consumed much faster. But yeah, someone with an intent who's abandoning due to XYZ reasons at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, I think these are some very interesting points, right? And in my personal opinion, talking to hundreds of customers, I think one other aspect that often came out is it's not always that the customer who has an intention to purchase ends up adding to cart. For example, let's take Amit's category. For that example, I see a steep price, and the first thought that runs in my mind is, wow, this is expensive. Maybe I can't even make this purchase right now. Maybe I need to relook at my finances and delay this purchase to a later time. Or generally speaking, look at the big price and ask yourself the question, oh, let me check some other websites, be it competitors or marketplaces or any other forms, to just satiate my curiosity about, does it really cost this much, and can I get it for a lesser landed value elsewhere, right? So I might think like that as a customer even before initiating a cart addition, and that also, so to say, is an abandonment. It's just a cart abandonment that did not fully manifest as a cart addition in the first place, right? I hope some of you would have had those experience in your funnels as well. Okay, so moving forward and building a little on what Akshay touched upon. It's expensive when something gets added to the cart and much later in the journey the customer gets dropped out from your funnel, right? It's expensive in terms of some things that Akshay mentioned. There is customer acquisition cost and other aspects. Let's go a little deeper, and Akshay, if you could take the lead on this one, and we'll let the others build on it.
Sure. So, well, let me just deep dive this into more numbers. So, let's say you spend $500 to get 100 users to your website. Out of them, only 7 are adding your product to the cart. And like with the address hop, then the payment hop, only one is converting. So let's say if you are selling a $1,500 product, the acquisition cost for you coming out to be 500 rupees, which is almost 33% of your marketing cost. Versus, let's say, those 2 users who abandon your cart, where you have a lot of details about them in terms of phone number, address, and their email ID. You can run a lot of campaign to reduce that churn. And basically, I mean to say that 500 acquisition cost can be reduced up to, let's say, 250 or a 300, which will be a great head towards your positive P&L making.
Got it. Raghav, would you like to build on that?
Yeah, I mean, just like how Akshay is mentioning that, each abandoned customer adds up to your advertising cost, right? Which is, I think, one of the biggest factors any D2C brand has to try and curb, the kind of spends that they have. I think the single largest cost that most D2C brands incur today is advertising cost, right? So, of course, an efficient way which reduces your percentage of consumers really abandoning the cart can really be helpful for the brand in reducing their overall advertising cost. And there are multiple ways in which brands can do that, which of course we'll be discussing later on here. But yeah, that's the single biggest pain point that most most brand owners have.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is, you lose money when you spend a lot of money and get that customer onto your website, and are not able to get them to convert. And of course, then there are scenarios where you spend money to sort of send more money around that customer who abandoned the cart, right? So that increases the cost. Amit, anything else that you would like to add to that?
Yeah, I think Raghav and Akshay has actually built up the piece. But just to add, the main challenge here, which any D2C head goes through is that you spend good amount of money in acquiring that customer as a performance marketing, be it SEO, SCM, everything you build it. You bring him to the page, and whichever the journey of that entire journey, you lose him. In our category, 80 to 90% are customers we have to acquire new. Some FMCG categories, they have a repeat customers, and if he's losing a repeat customer, then their challenge is much more tougher to understand why you have lost the repeat customer. In my category, the challenge is that we have caught him with a great amount of effort to the website and lost him. We need to understand why we lost him. And understanding that piece for any D2C head, why we lost that customer and now bring him back is the most toughest part in the piece. And that's where I think everyone tries to spend more time, because currently everyone's challenge is to reduce the acquisition cost as much as possible. And that journey, everyone tries to do it in his working style. And in that, if you have acquired with a very good amount of money and you lost him, then reacquire him is one of the biggest challenge.
That's a very interesting aspect that you mentioned, right? That there are certain categories who tend to have a higher proportion of new customers, such as yours, for example. And also, I'm guessing there's a similar story in electronics, but BPC, as Raghav mentioned, has a very different story. There is a persistent repeat usage behavior. So across all these different scenarios, I'm guessing the reasons why someone abandons a cart could be very varied, right? Would love to go around and understand what are some of these reasons. Raghav, if you could begin on this one.
I think industry-wide, the biggest reason is that a consumer sees X amount of cost, but at the time of checkout, they suddenly are presented with some hidden costs, right? Or another bigger reason probably is that they saw an offer, and that either that offer is too complicated or they're not able to apply that offer and land at the cost that they want to. That's probably one of, be it any industry, I think Akshay and Amit would agree on this, that across the industry, that's one of the biggest reasons why we see cart abandonments, amongst other reasons. But that's the topmost reason as I would put it.
Yeah.
Totally agreed. Totally agreed, Raghav. Just to give some more pointers over there. So we can bifurcate this into three buckets. One could be the intent of users. It's like some user are the one who are really intended towards buying your product. They're definitely going to buy it. Some comes up with a factor where they want to buy the product, but they don't have the money, or like current scenario where they can buy the product, where the pay later solution can play a role. Third one are like deal seeker one, कि यार discount दे दोगे तभी हम लेंगे, till the time they are not going to buy. Second bucket could be the technical issues which could lead to these reasons, like the experience over the cart or maybe some resistance, because users are more driven towards the marketplace flows, the Amazon, Flipkart, or the flow of the world, how they works. But if you are giving some resistant flow during the cart journey to them, maybe the CTA towards left instead of towards the right or something like those stuff, their resistance could also create some hustles and can increase the cart abandonment over their side. Third reason could also be the third reason is definitely the pricing thing, which Raghav have already stated, as well as the shipping thing, because even nowadays it's a quick commerce world. Like we are getting our grocery delivered within 15-20 minutes. So I'm not saying that we can, or with that D2C ecosystem can deliver the product next day because of a lot of dependency vector across the 3PL partners. But definitely customer expected 2 or 3 days of delivery also, where that information of exact delivery need to be precisely communicated to the customers. Because let's say in our industry, it's like gadget, or maybe if I quote example of mobile phone, when you are ordering a phone, you can't resist to get that phone in your hand and experience it as soon as possible. So that delivery speed communication is also required.
Those are some very interesting points, Amit. What are your thoughts? I'm sure your category has its own nuances with respect to the reasons.
I think Akshay nicely bucketed into 4 categories, well structured, defined. The last part remains in our category is TLC. because customer comes and decides to buy a product, and as you rightly mentioned, he sees the AOV is 15k plus 20k plus, and he says, okay, I'm investing such high amount, okay, I'm getting card offers, I'm getting BNPL, but I would like to go and see this product physically before I make that purchase. So he will add it into the cart. He might go to the physical world, check the product, come back. He might decide to go with his family back and check it, reconfirm the decision.
Yeah.
And when he's finalized the decision, he says, okay, I don't want to go and buy it into the store. Might I buy it online? And that window, we have to hold on to him for that maybe period of 1 week or 2 week or one weekend or second weekend. So that's the fifth part, which comes in our category.
Gaurav, I'd just like to add two more points to this.
Sure.
So, as very rightly put by Akshay and Amit, I would say another sort of or another bucket of factors would also be how fast is the checkout process, right? For users these days, most of the ads they would be seeing on a Facebook or an Instagram while they're scrolling through their feeds. So they're landing onto your website while they were doing something, and now if it's an impulse buy or anything, how quickly can they check out? If your checkout process is not smooth, is not quick, how long does it take for a user to fill in the address, etc.? That could also be a very big contributor, that how smooth is the checkout process. And as Amit and Akshay also referred to, most D2C brands have their products available across marketplaces, different channels. So price parity amongst those is also another very big reason, because you have tools these days where people go and just check this product by a certain brand, where is it available at the cheapest price, right? And
Yeah.
where is it going to be delivered the fastest? So those are also, I think, some of the other reasons, not the major ones, but they also would contribute to cart abandonment.
No, absolutely. I think these are some of the great reasons, right? And thanks for bucketing them. A couple of other reasons that I've experienced personally, as well as heard from customers. One of them is definitely uh, there's too much happening when you're trying to check a customer out, right? I mean, obviously, as a business owner, as a P&L owner, you try to maximize on that customer that you acquired and have their interest, right? So you try to have an upsell or a cross sell of some kind, or some sort of an associated purchase tagged along, right? And while that is required, customers appreciate it in some cases. In some cases, they do not, and that sort of decision fatigue that kicks in slows the decision making process, right? And even more so when when the category itself is a very involved purchase. If I'm buying like big ticket electronics, or if I'm buying let's say a mattress, I have others' opinions required in my family, in my household, and that typically delays the process. But have you also observed a behavior around people just going off and looking for offers everywhere, not just price offers, but the age old brand name space coupon search on Google is a very high volume one, right? I'm sure you all measure it very diligently in your traffic metrics. What about that? Like how strongly is that metric reflecting?
I think that impacts quite a bit. Some of the users who've been able to, like you mentioned, the age-old way of just going and searching for coupons online, right? So some of I mean, I would, if I can name, for example, Zomato, how they've, cracked the discounting coupons section, that the way they've created it, it's so intuitive, right? You can just go and see, and others have also followed along. So it really matters how you actually display this at the checkout stage, rather than having people going across searching your site or searching other sites for, I think coupons. It should be very, whatever offers you might have available for that consumer, they should be very clearly called out on the checkout journey, so that it can help in reducing the abandonment rate.
Got it. That's very interesting. You know what I'm going to do for the next part or the next question, right? You folks mentioned a bunch of reasons, so I'm going to go one reason per person. You can shout out, a good way to sort of navigate that challenge, and you can keep adding on more if you have more solutions for that same problem, right? So I'll begin with the hidden charges. I think that was the first one that got mentioned. Would love to know how to navigate that. And just mind you, I mean, it's not always that the charges themselves are hidden. but taxes is a very important part of the mix, and people just realize that taxes follow suit a little later in the checkout process. So whoever wants to go with that one first.
So I think, as Raghav also mentioned, the last piece, you have to put all the things very clearly. First of all, the price has to be mentioned very clearly while he's choosing the product or any SKU. What exactly amount with taxes he's going to pay. So he knows that what is his upper limit he has to pay. The part 2 comes is that what discounts and coupons he will get as a benefited because of his any credit card association, debit cards associations, or coupon codes which he has able to get on. That parts again has to be properly defined at the checkout page where he can understand, okay, I can apply whether Axis Bank, ICICI, or any other bank cards, or I want to go for EMI, or if I have to go for BNP. In he final comes to know what is his amount. If he can understand those steps very easily, if you put it very simple, idiot proof for a customer, he's more than happy to convert. The more you make it complicated, he feels that, okay, the easiest way is to go to marketplace where his experience is multiple times purchasing multiple categories. The more simpler, more clarified process helps you in converting.
So what I'm getting from what you said, Amit, is you make sure that the transparency is there right from the word go. Sometimes that would mean explaining that there is taxes ahead, or just mentioning that the inclusive of taxes pricing, just what marketplace also tend to do typically, as long as it works for your business, right? I mean, different businesses have different needs with respect to that as well. So those are the two takeaways I'm taking from the first one with respect to hidden prices, and of course making them aware of what could be the best landed price. I think that's a third point that you mentioned, Amit. Let's move on to the next problem that we pointed out, and I think coupons and offer-seeking behavior was the second one. Raghav, Akshay, anyone?
So, totally agreed, Gaurav. I mean, even here also, we always discuss like what is the difference of a D2C versus a marketplace. Like for a user, how it comes out to be a differential he buying on your website versus on Amazon or Flipkart of the world. So definitely, coupon plays a very bigger role in terms of one is the like not experiential, but the best price you are giving over the D2C piece, as well as the experience what Raghav have already quoted, the Zomato and Swiggy have already cracked, while communicating the information in a clear way. I mean, it can't be that I'm communicating just one line of that bank offer will apply without showcasing which cards are there. In that case, there might be a fallback that user are coming applying and at the checkout they are getting your lagai nahi ko. It need to be properly communicated, as well as this also plays a bigger role in increasing your AOV if you are a mid-price or a multi-buying option platform where 2 or 3 SKUs can also be sold at your platform. So you can run a lot of combo or a 2 SKU, 3 SKU code to increase your AOV, and the intent of user will be might be high that I'm buying for me plus some of my family members also.
Got it. So what you said was, if you're giving offers, give them an experience which is very similar to what marketplaces do. Be more transparent in your communication, and also most importantly, don't expect your customers to do a mental math, right? 5% on ABC card doesn't
It's
mean
better to
I should do that
exact
calculation.
rupees. Yeah, definitely.
Makes sense. That's a good one. So moving on to the next one, right? Intent. I mean, intent itself is the biggest part of the bucket, right? How would you help customers improve the intent at the time of either when they've just added something into the cart, or when they're just initiating their checkout? What are the various things that can be done?
For intent, we at Bella Vita actually are doing, I'll take our example itself. We're clearly calling out, and of course, any brand owner would ideally want more prepaid orders than COD orders, and COD is a very India-centric problem that we have. So we clearly incentivize, we clearly call out. Call outs need to be very, very clear so that the user is not confused at all. Too many options also shouldn't be provided in terms of what the consumer can get if you have an upsell that you're trying to do. limit the number of options available at checkout so that the customer doesn't get confused. What we do is, for example, if we want to incentivize prepaid, we're using a one-click checkout tool where we can easily give a free gift, a GWP, gift with product on our prepaid orders to probably increase our sales there. That also helps the user really. If you have that offer for a limited time, etc., then the user would really want to move over to the checkout piece, completing the intent journey. So that's something that we do, which works very well for us.
Got it. Akshay and Amit, what do you folks do for intent? Because it's a very broad problem, right? Intent could vary from, I don't want the product at all, or I don't want it right now, or to, is it really the best purchase for me?
Gaurav, I think it's also comes from the targeting level also. That the intent piece can also be taken care at the marketing level where you are doing Facebook and Google or XYZ ads. And what kind of audiences are you choosing? So bucketing those audiences into the perfect list. So even let's say, like Raghav highlighted the prepaid orders versus COD, which is the biggest piece. The RTO is not adding up anything onto your PNL. So definitely targeting a right custom audience towards the top level or the marketing level so that you are getting the correct traffic over your channels could be a big hit. Or maybe you can run a zonal level advertisement where you can think, yeah, your customer coming, or maybe the prepaid customer coming from a particular zone and not from a different zone, that you can segregate those zones also into your targeting piece.
That's interesting. Amit, your category's intent, journey is a very different one. How do you typically help, improve intent in the buying journey?
There is a one piece which we try to educate here in our customer base before we go for an intent. Actually, 1/3 of our lifespan, we actually put it into sleep. And you spend as much as time you spend it in a day. Now we try to educate customers that a good sleep is good health for you, and that like the precaution is better than cure. We try to tell them that do not look for a product or orthopedic mattress when you have a back pain. Why don't you invest into a product right from the day one? And the precaution is better than cure, and we try to bring that intent into his mind from the day one, that you choose a product before you hit the problem. And that's how our journey starts when it comes to the intent. Measure of the products you will see otherwise, they look for a solution. Okay, I'm having a back problem, shall I go for orthopedic mattress? Or I'm having a very hard mattress, shall I go for this? We try to create that intent. Okay, as much as you're investing into your nutrition, good food, vegan food, fitness, why don't you invest into your sleep? And that's how we are trying to create our intent into our customer base whom we are targeting.
Got it. I think a couple of other things that I would like to add, on top of this, that customers and brand owners such as yourselves have mentioned in the past. Trust plays a very huge role, especially when you're interacting with a new customer, right? You could have a very big brand, but for that new customer, they have never interacted with your brand or never purchased something from your brand, and you could call it trust, you could call it an element of doubt, you could call it a double guess, right? And there is an important role being played over there. Sometimes just reinforcing the message that you are with the best, you are in the best place, and that you're about to make a purchase that is going to be regret free in nature, or just superimposing how easy your returns and your cancellations are, could just help help your customer cover that bridge rather easily, right? But yeah, I think one last and perhaps the most important part of your entire buying journey, the checkout journey itself, right? A lot of brands do it differently. A lot of platforms do it very differently. What are some of the things that you folks do to help or if you've observed elsewhere that help improve the checkout experience for your end customer itself?
I think one of the biggest things that everyone these days is doing, all D2C, all major brands here, be it Noise, or be it Duroflex, be it Bella Vita, the market has something known as a one-click checkout tool, right? While you may be on a Shopify platform or a Magento or a WooCommerce or any platform, what really matters is, like I said, the speed, all these factors that we spoke about, and something that solves this, all of this puzzle really well together is one-click checkout tools that are there out there in the market, be it Razorpay or any other tool that's there. Because for a consumer to get, for a brand to get an OTP verified consumer first, then to get an address pre-filled for the consumer, it's just so quick. The journey, the time required gets cut down drastically. That helps us, and I think all of us here on the panel also are, using one of the other tools out there that help us solve multiple different problems of RTO, of trust. Example that you mentioned, Razorpay itself has a trust badge that consumers can show. Shopify globally has come out with something known as Shop Pay, which is also building trust, right? So trust, of course, is also a very big factor. And again, another factor would be how convenient is it? How many payment options does a consumer have? You have so many different payment methods these days, be it UPI, be it credit, be it different cards, etc., BNPL. So I think a tool that covers all of these aspects very well is something that really helps all of us as D2C brand owners to work upon. And I'm sure, Amit and Akshay can share their, their journey as well.
Sure, yeah. Amit, please go ahead.
Yeah, I think the Magic Checkout has been a wonderful tool for us. The why I will say about it, if anyone is using, they will understand and they will able to add more into it, is that many of the customers don't want to create a login, password, everything. They feel it that, I don't want to create a login. I just want a hassle-free purchase. So I'm buying one time. I don't want to create my login, password, ID, everything. Remember, I just want a clear cut. I think the Magic Checkout has been the great savior in this entire piece. While all the things comes at the checkout, but I think that has been, if you ask me, one thing which has really helped is that, you actually one click, you come to the checkout page, you put your financial instrument details and close. I think that has been the best part of it.
Got it. Akshay, going more deeper into this itself, right? If we just talk about the payment method coverage, right? How big a role does it play? Because obviously you have, a few bank partnerships, you have,
Yep.
affordability, the big theme, especially in electronics where purchase is largely discretionary and you have a very wide range of customer segments, right? How do you sort of navigate with respect to affordability methods?
Akshay, before you start answering, sorry, not to go too deep, if you could just wrap up your answer about 3 minutes, we'll have to move on to the next session. Our audience
Sure.
is very stickler of timing. Thank you.
Sure, I'll just wrap up. So, Gaurav, my inputs over there, over the payment methods is definitely, this is again the intent piece. Like for a low or maybe for a non-fat product person who is buying, like for, you can say for the Gen Z users who don't have the purchasing capacity but really like the electronic segment, for them, a BNPL or a pay later or pay in three kind of solution really works well. For professional solution like credit are literally pretty good because you have all your credit card integrated over there. You don't even need to, like, one is we skip the auto address filling, then now we even don't need to enter the credit card details. So that's another saving of 20-30 seconds over there over these solutions. And UPI is definitely trending a lot over all the payment media. That's the biggest chunk nowadays. As well as if you see many offers from a lot of RuPay cards are now rolling out across the market that you can pay your UPI payment via RuPay credit cards. That's gonna be a new game altogether. Then UPI will not also need to be a saving account thing. It also gonna be a credit card thing. So
Got
that
it.
plays a bigger role.
Got it. These are, very popular methods, as you rightly mentioned, right? And,
But I
you
feel
know,
continuous monitoring is definitely required for all the four ops. I mean, you can't leave it to the payment partner or anybody else. it need to be continuously monitored across the scenarios, because this keep
Of
on
course.
been happening during sales or these all stuff.
Yeah. I think we'll have time for exactly one question. So I'm going to pick one from the list that the team has suggested. Uh, does offering, a free shipping or a shipping offer generally, help in reducing cart abandonment? Is that like a trend that you folks are observing?
Most definitely, yeah. Free shipping is something that uncomplicates the entire journey for a consumer. Personally, I can say that the brands that we work upon, we definitely call out on the PDP on the cart, so that there's no doubt amongst the consumer. And if even if you have a product which doesn't fulfill the free shipping value, etc., it should be clearly called out that get free shipping above, or in the cart most people use a slider which shows you that x amount till you get a free shipping
Yeah.
available on your order. So I think that really nudges the customer very well. That's very important.
So doing it smartly could, be both cost effective for you as a brand as well as help your customer sort of, cover the bridge. That's a very interesting point. Chandni is here once again, which means, we might have to wrap up. But
Yes.
I would just like to thank all of you for, the amazing insights that you folks shared here. I just like a quick 30-second to, recap everything that we discussed. Cart abandonment is a very real problem, right from the moment someone lands on your site and has interest, but could drop off because of a variety of reasons, be it intent, be it purchase options, be it affordability, be it them just looking for deals, and of course them not trusting your brand or your product enough to confidently make that purchase in that very session. And there are a bunch of things that businesses and brands could do to navigate those, which you just recently listed. I think these are definitely things that the fellow brand audiences that are here would be able to put to quick use, and help them reduce the cart abandonment problem also. Like I said previously, and I think Amit and Raghav were pointing out that you know cart abandonment is something that gets significantly improved when you help reduce friction for your customers, and there are solutions available for businesses to be able to bridge that friction. So I think those are some of the points. Once again, thank you so much, Raghav, Akshay, and Amit, for taking out the time and for sharing your very valuable insights here with this entire forum. Over to you, Chandni.
Thank you so much. I'm getting a lot of messages coming in saying, guys, amazing insights, loving the conversation. Thank you, Puneet, for your wonderful words. He says, wonderful session. Thanks a lot. Lots of positive messages coming in. Thank you so much, Raghav, Akshay, and Amit. I'm going to have to ask you all to drop off, and I will move on to the next session.
See you, folks.
All right, just like cart abandonment is a serious issue for you all, event abandonment is a serious issue for me. So please do not drop off, because we're 3 minutes away from our next session on how to retain your customers. Now, this session is going to be directly automatically taken from your screen. So hang on for a minute. I will see you there.